Welcome back. We are hunters. We're going to review Hunter. And this is the Grinning Goat. And we're doing card reviews for Boomsday, Hearthstone, Arena.
Extravaganza. I'm Merps.
I'm
We're doing
Adwita.
Hunter.
Hunters.
All right. Hunter. First card.
First card. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to tell you how good the cards are relative to its bucket. We're also going to give you a number in case you care. That's for the tier list if you want like very micro evaluations. So the first card is Venomizer. Want to take it away?
Sure. Venomizer, 2 mana, 2/2, and it has. It is a mech itself, right? Yes. So 2 mana, 2/2 mech with magnetic and poisonous. This is a good card. It is placed in the first bucket, and we think appropriately so. It actually gives hunters a good option on turn 2, right? They haven't had many good 2-drops given to them, or just good early game given to them in a while. So this is very welcome for them. Kind of unfortunately, it is appropriately bucketed, right? So you do have a choice to make. Like if you just look at all the other stuff, yeah, you can take a Venomizer, but you can also take like an Eaglehorn Bow, right? You can take a Savannah Highmane. Like these are things that you're going up against. So it's a good card. Hunters, you're gonna like it, but it does face decent competition.
Yep. One more 2-drop never hurts. If you need it, especially as Hunter, you're going to take it. But here's the interesting thing about this card. It's magnetic, but you're not going to buff stuff with it most of the time. Because the poisonous gets worse and worse the more you're buffing stuff. So, like, you have to buff something with, like, 0 attack or 1 attack or something, or it's, like, not as worth it. You kind of just want it to stand by itself and hit something and die, right? So that's that. It's an interesting card. It's, definitely, I would not be upset if they moved it down one bucket. And because it is a poisonous card, and all poisonous cards that are small are systematically under-bucketed for Blizzard, because people keep holding these damn cards for value instead of just playing them for tempo, I am actually very confident, especially because this is magnetic, they'll hold it even more. I am very confident that this card is going to drop at least 1 bucket, if not 2. Not because this card doesn't necessarily belong in the first/second bucket, but I have zero faith in the average stats bearing this out for Blizzard.
That's fair. Okay.
Okay, so let's look at the next Hunter card. The next Hunter card is a Spider Bomb, which we actually have rated a 140, which we would normally put in like the first bucket, or like the second bucket at least. And it is a 3 mana 2/2 magnetic. Death Rattle, destroy a random enemy minion. So it kind of matches up against anything. It can kill something small and also destroy something else. It's magnetic, so it's even more flexible if you want to like eat something by giving it a 2/2 buff. Remember, 3 mana +2/+2 is not bad, even though you're delaying your Death Rattle, destroy a random enemy minion.
Yeah.
Like,
this is good value for the third bucket.
Yeah.
This is really good value for third bucket. You should heavily consider taking this.
Yeah. Especially if you have some mechs, but even if you don't, because like I said, this is Hunter's mechs, right? Hunter mechs, you don't have to use the magnetic on a mech. The magnetic is just another option. It's like a choose one. It's not actually like this is going to add value. Like in Paladin, it is going to add value. In Hunter, it's just a choose one. Okay, so that's that Spider Bomb. Next, we're gonna move on to the fourth bucket. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, this is my kind of card.
Your kind of card, right here, coming up.
Bomb Toss. 2 mana for a spell to deal 2 damage. Oh, yeah.
To anywhere, not just a minion. What?
Anywhere,
what? Hunters are allowed to have these cards again?
I never thought that hunters were allowed this kind of card, even though it's like the effect is so right.
What? It's giving you 2 more damage to the opponent's face.
That's true.
It summons an O2 Goblin Bomb. Don't you want Goblin Bombs? They damage opponent's face.
They do, and it's something to buff on the board, right? But yeah, like this is a totally serviceable card. It is completely fair. It does what hunters need, right? Like they want more initiative, they want more face damage. So this is in the fourth bucket. We think it's appropriately bucketed, and it's a card in which you look at it and you'll take a decent amount just because it's properly bucketed. Yeah. It's not like a must pick, by any means, but
Yeah,
it's
especially when you
good.
have like fewer, spells in general being offered now. Like it's totally serviceable. You're looking at it, you're like, I have my curve. Would I rather have another like minion, or would I rather have a spell? I'll take a spell.
Yep.
Next one. This one's worse. It's correctly bucketed. You can move it down a bucket or two, or you can keep it here. I don't really care. It's called Secret Plan. It's 1 mana. You discover a secret. Hunter secrets are good, but like, do you really need to be discovering a secret? Like, what's that really doing for you? They're partly good because they can be used as functional 2-drops. It does give consistency to your spellstones without needing to add another secret into the mix. You have actually kind of a wide variety of secrets, so it's not that guaranteed that you'll get the secret you want, but you'll definitely get a good one. Hunters have plenty of good secrets. You won't be stuck with only the crappy one. But it's just making the Hunter secret cost 3 mana really just it slows it down too much, right? It's Hunter. You care about your mana.
Yep, definitely. Okay. The next card is Goblin Prank. 2 mana, spell. Give a friendly minion +3/+3 and rush. It dies at end of turn. Very fair card. Once again, this is something in which we think is properly bucketed. You can use it for the rush effect, which is really nice, or you could just use it as a kind of +3/+3 and then have a trade, right? Have a trade with something on board. So yeah, this is perfectly fine.
Yeah. It's 3 damage of reach too, right? If you need it in a pinch, kind of like Remnant.
That's true. You can go face with it and have it die, but it doesn't matter if they die first. Right?
Exactly. It dies at the end of the turn. If they die before the end of the turn, your guy never even dies. He's just like acidic.
He just has acid flowing down his like face. Yeah, fantastic.
Cast it on a card you don't like. So like these give rush cards are generally a little under bucketed for all the other ones, but this one I guess kills your minion, and so Blizzard bucketed it correctly. So it's just like fine. I like it. It's good flavor. I like it better on this than on Warlock, right? This was whatever you call the like power overwhelming on Warlock. And that one was too powerful. Okay, next up we have my favorite Hunter card. Oh, this card is going to be the reason I play Hunter in this meta. It is Cybertech Chip. It's bucketed in the 6 bucket, so I'm not going to see it too often, but it is a spell, and it is, like a rare spell, so it's gonna come up still a decent amount of times. It says, give your minions Death Rattle, add a random mech to your hand, 2 mana. That's all your minions. If you play with these like weird mech stuff that like gives you 1/1 mechs on the board, or like remains on the board and has death rattles or whatever, as half of the mechs seem to do, you're just gonna get a lot of random tokens. They're all gonna add mechs to your hand. This is effectively like 2 mana, draw 4 cards, and they're all mechs and they all synergize with each other. It's freaking great. Now it does anti-tempo you, right? Probably when you don't want to anti-tempo if you're playing a more aggressive note. But you kind of need this kind of sustain, right? Especially in Hunter in this meta with all the giggling inventors that are under bucketed. Like, you don't want to see a giggling inventor as Hunter and lose. Like, you don't want to be like, the only way I win is if he doesn't play a giggling inventor on 5.
That is not good.
Plenty of people are going to play giggling inventors on 5. It's under bucketed. It's, good. And they're gonna draw it like by turn 5, like what, a third of the time, half the time, if they have it. So this is a very good reload card, even if you're playing a very aggressive kind of Hunter.
This is just really good. This is one of those cards we talked about it earlier, but heavily consider taking this card. You basically just should take this card.
It's a 172. I take 2 or 3 of these cards. Like in my deck.
Yeah,
like you can out-card advantage your opponent because of how good this card is.
It's really, really freaking good. And 6 bucket, there are some good cards in there, but few cards as good as Cybertech Chip.
I'm gonna phrase it another way of how good Cybertech Chip is. At a 172, it is the 2nd best card in Hunter next to Freezing Trap. That means it is better than all of the top bucket cards, which is a lot in Hunter. Now, you can agree or disagree with that, but this is the algorithm. It assumes that you are flexible in your playstyle. So if you're like, I just want to go super aggro hunter all the time, okay, maybe the bow is better, right? But if you want to like be able to flex into mid-range control, whatever for hunter, this card, the value is insane.
The value is insane.
And the thing is, with these kinds of cards, it may not actually be like bucketed up anytime soon, right? Shaman has this card. Been here forever, Spirit Echo, which is 3 mana. Give your minions Death Rattle, return this to your hand, right? Which is not as good as our Hunter card, but still, and that's in the last bucket, and it's been in the last bucket, and they just don't move it because apparently people suck with that card. 172 is really high. It's only really high if it's not that good, but it is that good. Like, do you see how much I'm grinning? And this is why, as Hunter, you know what one of the best cards for Hunter is?
What?
Giggling Inventor.
Oh yeah. Well, it's also just really good because it just is really good.
And it's really good for Hunter because you're gonna have Cybertech chips, and you're gonna Cybertech chip your Giggling Inventors, and then you're gonna be a super control class, and your opponent's gonna be like, "What?" But I thought, and you're gonna be like, "Nope, mechs everywhere."
Right. And you have 2 mechs on the board already with Giggling Inventor. So it's like, yeah.
So good. And they're like mechs with like taunts and like, you know, like divine shields and silly hunters. It's gonna be so good. Draft hunters, guys. Take this card, win the game. All right, what's next?
Oh god. Okay, so next we have Necro Mechanic. Necro Mechanic is a 5 mana 3/6, and what you do is your Death Rattles trigger twice. It's just not enough stats. That's the thing. You think that this is kind of appropriate for the 6 bucket. It's fine-ish. It's just you need the Death Rattles, otherwise you're really giving up a decent amount of stats. And with Hunter, you can't afford to do that. So that's why it is where it is.
And it can't just be like, oh, you have a Death Rattle card on board and then it triggers. No, your Death Rattle has to actually die while this is still alive. Like, there's like layers on this.
Right. It has to be on the board, and you have to be able to proc it on the turn that you play this. And then once again, if people are just like, oh, just wait with it, know that lowers the value of it. Any time in which you cannot use a card, or you have to hold on to it for value, and you lose turns in which you could not use this card, that card's sort of net value goes down.
Yep.
Right. So same thing for this.
All right. Now here's the crappy card in Hunter, which I know some people like for some reason, but it's bad. It's Fireworks Tech. It's bad even for the 6 bucket. It'll probably end up in the last bucket at some point. It's a 2 mana 2/1. Battlecry, give a friendly mech +1/+1. If it has Death Rattle, trigger it. So okay, give a friendly mech +1/+1. Fine. 2/1 body for 2 mana. And you better have mechs or else this isn't doing anything. And then the mech has to have a Death Rattle for you to get the actual value out of it. Like, it's just not going to hit. Like, it's going to hit very crappily. Goblin Bomb synergy obviously says Magnolf in chat. That is true. That's what it's designed for. And you are not going to take all that many Goblin Bombs.
Yeah, and once again, before you have the Goblin Bomb, what is this? It's a 2 mana 2/1, right? That's really the problem with it. Like, even if you do have the Goblin Bomb, you have to, and you have this in your hand, you have to wait. You're going to be waiting for a while to use that.
All right. Okay. Well, what do you think about Hunter? You're, you play more Hunter than anyone these days.
I know. I think it's good. And you're going to be able to extract value from 2 cards which we think are massively underbucketed: Spider Bomb and Cybertech Chip, right? And it's always good to see.
And they work together.
Yeah, exactly. Within the class. So you have Venomizer, you have Spider Bomb, you have Cybertech Chip as well, right? And even then, like, you look at Necro Mechanic as well, and you're like, oh, cool. Spider Bomb with the Necro Mechanic and everything. All of these, like, synergies within the expansion, that's something that we always look for. And Hunters have that. They have 2 good cards that are under bucketed. you're gonna have a good time with Hunter, I think.
Yep. All right. Well, let's talk about the legendaries to just cap it off really quickly. Legendaries, 2 of them. They're on the last bucket. They are all better than the last bucket, although the first one's even better. So let's go with the bad one first. Bad one is Boommaster Flark, the actual Flark guy. He's a 7-mana 5/5. He summons 4 O2 goblins. So we don't like Goblin Bombs at the arena because you need something to trigger it, but 4 of them is a lot. And when you trigger it, it deals a crap ton of damage. That's 8 face damage, right? If you get something like, I don't know, a wolf or like whatever, right? Something that buffs all your minions. So you do need to combo it to do something, but like 4 Goblin Bombs is a lot. Like even we, the Goblin Bomb haters, have to give it its value.
Yeah, and this is why it's decent.
It's a 97. It's average. It's almost a Yeti.
It's good for its bucket.
Yeah.
That's what you can say about it, right? So that's Boommaster Flark, and the better legendary is Flark's Boomzooka. 8-mana spell, summon 3 minions from your deck, they attack enemy minions, then die. This is just hilarious also. Like
it's the picture is a rhino where the tied to a rocket.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking awesome. This is once again just good for its bucket. It can't go face, unfortunately, so it automatically gets a 0 for me. But yeah, you're 3 minions, and minions are
good. They can attack whichever, they attack random targets.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of damage on the board, right?
It is a lot of damage.
At some point, it's no longer random because you're just hitting everything that you need to hit on the board.
Right. So, look, as a legendary, obviously it can't compare with the heavy hitters, right? But it's not going up against the heavy hitters. It's not going up against the, the best legendaries. It's the last bucket, and it is very good for the last bucket. So, once again, another area where you can extract some value.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, like, if you guys also don't know, when they die, death rattles happen. So that's also a big part of its value. That's most of its constructed value. But even in the arena, right, especially what we're talking about, the internal synergies with Hunter. Hunter's always had a death rattle thing. So you're probably going to get like something out of 3 minions, right? Like, if you take 3 random minions in a Hunter deck, I think half the time you'll get at least 1 death rattle, like minimum.
Yeah, you can get death rattle, and I think people systematically sort of like think minion, like the average minion is sort of like bigger or smaller depending on how they view a card, right? Look, you're gonna have stuff with death rattles. We have poisonous minions, right? The class minions from this expansion, Spider Bomb and Venomizer, they are going to kill things, right? Both of them, they're going to like kill things. And the size of the average minion in a deck is gonna, for Hunter, it might be a little bit smaller, but it's gonna be like around like 3/4, 4/3-ish, right? In terms of like attack. That's not bad. Like, even if you just got that like 3 times, that's a decent amount of damage. And it's why the card is totally fine. So once again, don't compare it to Lich Kings and whatever. For the last legendary bucket, this is going up against like the Ozruks, right? This is going up against the really crummy legendaries. Like, are you gonna pick Flark's Boomzooka, or are you gonna pick,
Millhouse,
right? Yeah, King Togwaggle. Like, these kind of cards, we can, like, once again, we can disagree about exactly how good this is, but I think we have to universally agree that this card is so much better than most of the other junk legendaries.
And that's it from us. This is Hunter. Hunter's gonna be good, and it's gonna be interesting to play. So it's like not like Druid levels of not interesting on the board mechanical, like, oh, am I a good player and I can do well with Druid? No, this is Hunter. Very interesting. That's it from us for Hunter. We'll see you a Mage next. Once again, this is Advicta.
This is Merp. See you in the next class.